Okay. You there, Pori? Seemed like everybody was bored. Alec, damn. Ow! I really like this sprite. That's way too many enemies placed on one screen. That was a glitch. That took a while to refresh. Wow, that sucked. Woof. Oh hey, it's that one gimmick from Rock Force. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do anything with it. The enemy types it chooses to use are some of the beefy, annoying ones, Hammer Joes, Komosuboros, and Fan Fiends. And the timer for the electric water is really slow, so level just kinda amounts to button mashing against tanky enemies and doing the occasional jump to avoid getting shocked. It's not really the best, and there really isn't any creative setups with the electric water at all. It just kind of exists there as a mild hindrance. There's really not much else to this level, really just button mashing against enemies. The music is nice though. Not a very interesting level. The shock gimmick in the water was kinda cool, but it wasn't introduced well or used in an interesting way. Like the one in Shockman stage in Rock Force. I didn't realize it was there until I got hit by it. A fairly decent level centered around the flashing water mechanic it introduces early on. I think it was pretty fun, but could convey its ideas to the player better and use its resources in a more organized manner. Basically, what I mean is how the level makes a few assumptions about the player which cannot always be guaranteed. On my first playthrough, I completely missed the flash of water in the safe room in which it is introduced, only to then be surprised by it on the next stream while I was defending off a Hammer Joe in the water. In addition to this level, I feel like the level consistently drops a few too many enemies on the player at a time, with the first screens already using 2 tanky ones in synergy with each other, and later screens almost ambushing the player with 4 at once. It can be quite overwhelming, and as a result I often found myself sticking to the edge of a room while taking care of the enemies currently on the screen. But in some areas this became a problem as I got hit by the water from the adjacent screen, which I was already past, but which had a hitbox extending into the screen I was on. Overall, nice idea, but needed more ideas mixed with the core concept to mix its challenges up. There's not a lot of bad things about this level, but there's even less good things. I just feel that it offers absolutely nothing new or interesting, and it just gets boring most of the time. The one fairly original gimmick isn't interesting, and the level design is mostly just empty and boring, and occasionally has too many enemies in one area. I don't know what else to say here, it's okay at best, honestly. That stage was certainly there. It existed, reusing Rock Force's Shockman gimmick was absolutely fine, but this feels half-assed. One stretch was interesting towards the end of the level, leaving with nowhere to go but time to jump out of the water. This was good, wanted to see more clever sections like that. I think in this case, implementing another dev kit gimmick might have been good for you. This wasn't bad, but very, very average across the board. In other nitpicks, the color scheme was bizarre and somewhat clashing, although the tile set looked great otherwise, and there were several missing collision tiles in the middle of the stage, and it is possible to get stuck. Fixed post-judging. The enemy selection was also pretty mixed, and several screens were very crowded. Overall, it's not bad, but very average, and I doubt many will remember this stage at all. Stage I kind of remember, but I'm not fond of. I'm frustrated because I can't play any of the cabinets. When I get close to them, they glitch up. Oh, the pains of being a literal magnet. Quint boy, Quint stage. Nice. I don't know why you thought that was a good idea. There we go. Oh, went up. Nope. I'm dealing with this. That sucks. I'm all the way back here. Bees. Phew. Bouncy. Ball is a good power. It's an okay level, but there are some rooms with very questionable design decisions which kind of bring the whole thing down for me. Mainly the part with the needles and ladders. It's fine until the new shot man, which just cheap shots you sometimes if it feels like it, and just keeps knocking you down over and over and gets you killed in an otherwise easy level. The other problem with the screen is the one with the double new shotmen. I have no idea how to dodge anything there, and considering it's right after a mini boss fight, you might be low on health and immediately die. Excuse me. Other than those two screens, the level isn't really anything special. It uses like every asset related to Mega Man 11, the Game Boy one, Mega Man 2. But I don't think they were used that interestingly, with the exception of the Crashman lifts. It's just kind of a level that exists, that's all like, hey, remember what was in that one Game Boy game? I feel like more could have been done with this concept, really. Also, the transition from Top Man to Quint is kind of broken. I don't know what you did. This stage was okay, I guess. There was nothing particularly special about it, really, but it was kind of fun while it lasted. However, in the Underwater section, it was a bit hard to tell what was a block and what wasn't, and the Crashman platforms went out of sync really easily. Oops. The Yoku block puzzles would have been fine by themselves, but the magnet sent them over the edge in difficulty compared to the rest of the level. The screen transition after the Top Man boss was really weird, and I think he forgot to place tiles under the vertical boss doors. A pretty good stage with some interesting ideas. While some rooms felt rather random, such as the second room from the start, all the basic ideas this level has with its gimmicks are executed pretty well. Aside from the spike ladder climb, as that part is just unexpected hits galore. The Yoku block section, while intimidating, is nice, and I appreciate the safety net, catching players who are learning to get used to the drag. Overall, pretty neat stage with cool ideas that sadly are quickly tossed away before they can get expanded upon. There's nothing interesting here. It's alright at best. I think certain sections of this level just feel unnecessary. The 3 hot dog mini-bosses in a row were pointless, and the sections with the Yoku blocks didn't need to be there and could be skipped way too easily. Other than that, nothing here is particularly impressive. I think this level could be better. Fairly generic level overall. There's nothing noteworthy and wrong with it, but equally nowhere are the boundaries pushed enough to make it feel fresh. When your most interesting setups are replicating Magnet Man's Yoku blocks, but worse, it's sticking hot dogs underwater, you know you have a fairly generic level overall. In all fairness, you do offer a few new setups on some of the existing gimmicks. They just aren't that interesting. I get what you're going for, you're trying to make this feel like a Wily stage, fair enough. The problem with mimicking the Wily stages from the earlier Mega Man games is, though, well, not to beat a dead horse, they're generic. There are a few problem spots, though. I'm not sure the Yoku block segment was handled well. The way the magnets are placed means the player is constantly swapping between polarities, and the magnets having no effect. It's disorienting, and I feel after a couple of attempts, most people just give up and use the super arrow. Another issue is that pits are not in any way made clear that they are, in fact, pits, which is always a minor annoyance. You set up the odd, interesting optional challenge, and your reward is bolts. This will leave players feeling fairly gypped, since bullets really are not enough of a reward for tackling these areas. This contest has noble nickels as a collectible. You really should have used them, particularly over the bolts. Also, 3 dev kit bosses for the price of 1. What they add to the level is beyond me, but they don't exactly hurt it either, so all is fair. They at least fit the stage's situation. And sorry about that slur earlier. What are these mighty blades for, you ask? You may think they're built for combat, but their primary purpose is to make the world's best sushi. Psst, don't tell Blade Man that I'm down here. He's still mad because I took his stupid wallet. A Mega Man for all seasons. This one's probably my favorite Tier 5 level. Quite possibly. I like the idea here. For treason against his grace, King Henry VIII of England, Sir Thomas More has been thus far imprisoned 6 months in the Tower of London. I like the graphics too. It should not have been as hard as that was. How any man should be so much taken with the glaring doubtful luster of a jewel or stone that can look up to a star or to the sun himself, or how any should value himself because his cloth is made of a finer thread. For how fine soever that thread may be, it was once no better than the fleece of a sheep, and that sheep was a sheep still, for all its wearing it. I like this poetry too. For treason against his grace, King Henry VIII of England, Sir Thomas More has been thus far imprisoned 9 months in the Tower of London. For one man to abound in wealth and pleasure, when all about him weep and smart for it, is to be a jailer and not a king. It's very true. Spring. For treason against his grace, King Henry VIII of England, Sir Thomas More has been thus far imprisoned 12 months in the Tower of London. I like the effort that went into this. Ow, fuck! If a king should fall under such contempt or envy, that he could not keep his subjects in their duty but by oppression and ill usage, and by rendering them poor and miserable, it were certainly better for him to quit his kingdom than to retain it by such methods as make him, while he keeps the name of authority, lose the majesty due to it. I appreciate you, Sir Thomas More. Sir Thomas More has been tried and found guilty of treason against his grace, King Henry VIII of England. He is hereby sentenced to death. And here's summer. I think this is supposed to be like beach, since it's summer and... Okay, let me give my rundown of what I think this is all about. in a second. So, beaches are often associated with summer. They're associated with summer because of the fact that you go to the beach in order to relax and chill out by the water. It is my opinion that summer is associated with the sand and the beach, as well as the crab, the hermit crabs, the regular crabs, the hermit crabs, etc., etc. I believe it's done that way because it's supposed to be crabs on a beach. I think these are all supposed to be like environments. Environments you would associate with the certain season that it goes with. I think that's what the sand is all about, personally. My time draws near. With what wisdom shall I leave you? Perhaps you might enjoy a touch of gallows humor. My beard hath not offended the king. Pity that thou should be cut that has committed no treason. Ah, maybe not. You seem a serious fellow. Sir Moore, I presume? Hast ye any last words? Yes, you died. Cute little level, though I do feel it kind of decreased in quality at the end and sort of became a mess. I like the initial room with the setups with the Mamuras, but later rooms just kind of felt like enemy spam, especially the spring one with the chicken enemies. The level is pretty short, so there isn't really much to say, though in the winter and spring session looked really weird when there was snow and rain that didn't animate. The idea is cool, and the dialogue with Thomas More and the Executioner is funny, but there's not that much level design to go with it. And what is there is just okay. There's some weird enemy placement throughout. Like, there's a lightning lord at the start you can just snipe from the ladder. It never poses an actual threat, among other things. It's a cute and good attempt, but I feel like it just needed more content in general and needed a better central focus. As time went on, this level made less and less sense, and the enemy placement felt very spammy. I'll be right back. I'm back. As time went on, this level made less and less sense, and the enemy placement felt very spammy. The third part was especially weird and nonsensical, with all the random flying shrimp. The graphics were pretty messy, especially with the fourth section, with the random sand everywhere. Overall, the time travel thing is neat, but it kind of feels like the level just copied the same section 4 times, and changed the enemies around every time, sometimes adding more hazards. The gimmick started off nicely, but the level just feels really rushed, especially towards the end. Overall, good concept, bad execution. The plot in this level is what made it for me, to be honest. Throwing Mega Man into this timeline like that is pretty silly, and while it's just the same few rooms over and over with a slight twist on it, I found myself just smiling at the charm non-stop. I wonder how this level could have done more to mix things up. It tries its best by introducing elements like water and quicksand, though I found them to be more of a hassle than an addition to the formula. And while it did shake the environment up, it went away before I was able to get accustomed to it. In a sense, I like the janky, rapidly changing environment that tries to get in the player's way over and over with different methods. I'm just thinking if there was a layout that would have allowed for more customization between seasons. Sorry for rambling, really fun level. It's a nice little stage. I like the main concept behind it, and I wonder why the season gimmick wasn't used in any other level. I also like the boss choice and mini-plot. However, this level has many problems. Looking at the primitive stage layout as well as the bad enemy placement, I can say that I don't like the level design here. Additionally, I felt that getting through the same stage with minor variations 4 times was tiring. Also, the tiles are really broken and don't look good at times. Decent level overall, but it could be better. This has to be just about the oddest Mega Man stage I've ever played. I mean, for all the issues, it's not without charm, and I personally found it rather entertaining. Probably for the same reasons you chose to do such a thing, actually. I dig this area of history and found the entire thing fascinating. The item hunt for the nickels is pretty cool, too. They're not hard, but they are neat. Can you spot the stray pixel clue? Or spot this tiny hint challenges? The whole concept behind revisiting an area several times over the seasons was great. It's almost handled well enough, but the further you get into the level, the less sense the obstacles make. Enemy selection was all over the place, but not terrible, just some odd choices every so often. Neat idea aside, this stage does have some glaring issues. There's a complete lack of challenge outside of the sun, maybe the squid and boss, and far, far too many power-ups around the place make an already easy stage even easier. I'm not sure what is going on with the graphics here. For every chosen tile, there's two really weird choices, and the level almost feels like you're playing a glitched stage. I feel really sorry for Komuso Man right now. I'm not sure why he is stripped of his hit invincibility here. There's also a potential soft lock in this fight. If Komuso Man isn't killed in time, he'll run out of the arena and leave Mega Man stranded. Whoops. Fixed post-judging. This was certainly an interesting level, and I enjoyed it. I'd be interested to see what other ideas you could come up with next. AD 2101. I think I'll save this one for later. Wait until Pori's back. Because I have a feeling Pori's gonna like this one.